And welcome back to Gentleman's Alt, Walter, Smooth Gentleman, whatever you want to call me. And after that last segment, while doing the outline for the show, I thought it would be appropriate to give a proper example of an amazing male who recently went through a painful situation. Buffalo Bills linebacker Tony Steward, who was a 2015 6th-round draft pick from Clemson, recently lost his fiancee, Brittany Burns, who was 26. A very sad story. She died on February 1st from ovarian cancer. She was diagnosed on December 9th, and 3 days later, Tony Steward proposed to her. I believe they had been dating for 2 years, or 4 years, one of them, 2 or 4 years. I honestly forgot that part, but I believe it was 2. And he proposed, and she said yes. And the significance of that, to me, is that this is an NFL player. NFL football player. He could have walked away and been with a girl the next day. But what did he do? He knew that this was the love of his life. He wanted to be there for her. He wanted to show her that he loved her. He proposed. Just like that, he proposed. Like, I'm here with you. I'm not running. I'm not going anywhere. I love you. He proposed. Amazing story. Amazing story. He wanted to see her through this. And they started a fundraiser called Britt and Tony Fight Like a Girl campaign to support Brittany in her fight ovarian cancer. And they've raised quite a bit of money since her passing, and I will have that link in the description on YouTube as well. Because cancer is a real thing, and it takes people's lives, and it can affect any of us, even if you're a football player in the NFL making 6 figures. It can affect anyone, and that's kind of what touched me about this, because there's pictures on his Instagram and Twitter where it shows him being there for her and being what actually a man is. Tony Stewart's a real man. Not because he's in the NFL. Not because he's a linebacker. It's because he is not afraid to show compassion to the world. That's a real man. Not afraid of emotions, not afraid of anything. Not afraid to wear a shirt that says, I wear a ribbon for my fiancée. Not afraid of what cultural stigma will say to him at all. That's a real man. If that's not what a man is, I don't want to know what one is, because it really is irrelevant. Because even in this case, it's not exactly kosher, as a lot of people would say, for men to show emotion like that. It still isn't, even in this case. For some reason, our society is that men have to be tough at all times, but he didn't care. This is what he wanted. He wanted to show the love of his life, that he was there for her. And he was. There's so many images of Brittany Burns was her name. And when she passed on Twitter, Tony posted he posted her name as Brittany Steward, which I thought was amazing. And yeah, just amazing. And I can't imagine what he's going through right now at all. Just can't imagine that at all. And that's why the story is important to me. Not just because she died of cancer. We need to make sure we find a cure for all different kinds of cancers. It is just the type of human being Tony Steward is, in contrast with the person in the story before who doesn't even deserve to have his name mentioned with Tony Steward. And you just read about Tony Steward, it's hard to not like him. You can't not like this guy. You cannot. It's just impossible to not respect a man who goes to these lengths to show and tell you how a real man acts and how a real man treats a woman. That's basically what this comes down to. He shows you how a real man treats a woman. At no point in time did he treat Brittany as if she was less than him or didn't have same brain power as him or was somehow less of a woman because she was diagnosed with cancer. Not at all. Not at all. He showed the world, and this is the type of example I want there to be for young men in this country and around the world, to be frank. Because this is how you treat a woman that you claim to love. That's how you do it. Be like Tony Steward. Be like Tony Steward. I mean, that's basically. It's hard. I can't. There's not enough compliments to give this guy and to feel for him. Like, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, as you heard in the interview, if you could actually hear it. I want him to be a Cowboy. I don't remember. I watched a couple of Bills games this year. I don't remember hearing his name. I believe he was a special teamer mostly, and he ended the year on injured reserve. But I want him to be a Cowboy because that's the kind of. If you're going to cheer for something, you want to cheer for a person like that, with that kind of character. That has that kind of character. I mean, you can't grade his character high enough for what he did and for how he carries himself. I just can't say enough great things about him. And then that does bring me into another train of thought there. Why in 2016 does this somewhat feel like something we need to praise? Why isn't this the norm? Why? I mean, just why? I mean, just from conversations I've had with people, it does seem that there's still a long way to go with how we do treat and see women. Yes, we have Hillary Clinton running for president, and yes, she has a lot of support, but we still have issues where I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but the woman, the Columbia student who just graduated, who walked across the stage with her mattress because she felt the university did nothing to help her after she was raped. That's one person I hope to interview one day because her story is incredible, and the strength she showed still shows today. We still have issues where if a woman is sexually assaulted, it's somehow deemed her fault. But it doesn't make any sense at all. This doesn't make sense. And yeah, that just doesn't make sense. I mean, I went to school at a university that, to be frank, has quite a few extremely good-looking females. I mean, to be as polite as possible about it. And when you go downtown, they may be wearing revealing clothing. How does that mean they're asking to be sexually assaulted? How does that mean they want rape? Like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I mean, you can look. Don't stare. Don't be weird about it. I mean, you can look. But if she doesn't want to have sex with you, why is that so... I don't understand. I just don't understand. Because let's be honest about it. There's going to be a girl that's going to want to have sex with you at some point eventually. I mean, there is. Why do you have to go and ruin someone's mental state and make them go through something like that? Why be that type of person? Be like Tony Steward. Show that kind of character. It's almost embarrassing that it's come to the situation where that Roosh individual can say that men can't help themselves and they're owed sex from any woman they choose because testosterone. His basic argument. That's condescending to me. Like, what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure every single human being has the desire to have sex. It's kind of that's kind of a trait that keeps our species alive. It's how we procreate. Yeah, the desire is there, but you're trying to say that because I have testosterone that I can't help myself? That's a complete and utter lie. We all can help ourselves. Not all of us are going to be like that. And we need more men to come out and say, this is not okay. It's not okay to be like this. We're better than that. All men are better than that. I have no problem saying that. We're all better than that. Be like Tony Steward. Have that character. Be that type of person. That's a great example for young men across this country. That's an NFL player who treated his dying girlfriend with cancer, dying fiancee with cancer, that he considered his wife, even though they didn't even have a formal wedding. Considered her his wife. Look how he treated her. Look what he did for her. Look how he supported her. That's a real man. Again, be like Tony Steward.